Alright, so today we're going to check out the different FDs. S-line, C-line, and the glow. Let's go through them and check it out. Alright, so on this first shot, it's going to be a 300-foot shot through this gap that I have highlighted. So here, there's a right to left wind. And so I start with the glow. And this glow, you see that I kind of leave it up a little high, and it has just a hair, almost no turn at all, and then hyzers out decently well, and then I go into the C-line. And this is where we're already going to see the difference, where the C-line has the same amount of reliability, almost on the same line, a little lower, but it pushes a little further before entering fade part of the flight path. And then with the S-line, almost in the same exact line, you see it flip up, carry straight, and so then it pushes straight into the tree on almost the same exact line. And then we go into a right to left crosswind, and so you'll see with the glow, I throw it on a kind of low hyzer. It has a nice swing to it because it's not trying to fight into the ground, it's trying to stay straight. And then you see the C-line, I'm pretty sure this one was the one where it was a bit higher, but you see it pushes out a little bit further and then it has that nice long fade, not a dump, but fades right to left quite a bit, and that right to left wind is only helping that. And then the S-line has pretty much the same flight, but you'll see this one pushed out again a bit further before starting to enter into the fade part of the flight path. And then I went to this left to right crosswind, trying to push into this gap I'll have highlighted that's approximately 380 feet. So I'm trying to keep it decently low so that the right to left doesn't carry it outside of the landing area I'm wanting. And so you see with the glow, I started low on hyzer to keep it out of the wind. It barely pushes up, but not really a whole lot before it continues off into the fade. Whereas the C-line, when I threw that one, it flipped up a little more and carried a bit straighter before entering into that fade part later in the flight. And so in terms of stability, the glow wants to enter into its fade a little sooner than the C-line. And you see the S-line is that on the same low hyzer, it flips up straight like the C-line did, but then this one drifts right and then drift at the end. And then I went into a 400-foot with that left to right, and so you see with the glow, I'm trying to keep it a little low, so you see it move into its drift, but it didn't have enough room to make and go through its flight path. And so with the C-line, this is where I corrected. I had the same hyzer, but significantly higher, so it had enough room to flip up, and that left to right gonna push it into a turn a lot more for a lot longer. And then you see it still fights out at the end. And the S-line, you see it flips up and then has a way bigger turn, drifting turn, and then finishes with its fade near the tail end of the flight path. And then I moved into this little 270-foot uphill, trying to hit this gap or somewhere around here, as if there's a basket on top of the hill. So I throw this glow, and I need to hang it out a bit more right, knowing it's going to have more fade because I'm not throwing it as hard. So I throw it up, and you see the wind kind of hold it out a little, and then it fades back pretty hard into that tree. And then the C-line, trying to go with pretty much the same line, knowing it's going to have a harder fade, but the wind does carry it out right a little, but then you see it does fight back towards the other side of those two trees. Whereas this S-line, I throw it even more left on hyzer, flip it up, knowing it's not going to have as much fight back. The wind just pushes it into its turn more, and then just finishes more towards that gap, which is a really nice and smooth looking shot. And then we went into just a few forehands because this is not particularly a disc I would ever use there. I'm trying to go up this gap, and I need a really sharp right carry. And so you would think an overstable like FD3, but really that's just going to crash into the ground more than it's going to carry right. With the glow, put it on hyzer, you see it kind of flip up a little, and that right to left, it pushes out straight for quite a while, which is what I'd want. And then, because it's not trying to fight into the ground, it's just going to hold this angle as it finishes, and the wind's pushing it and carries it way over right. Same thing with the C-line, just a bit higher, and it just shows with enough room, this thing moved probably left to right, almost over 100 to 150 feet in the air. And then the S-line, same idea, flipped up a bit and then carried really, really straight before having a pretty wide sweeping kind of finish. And then the last forehand was just under a gap. One of the only other times I might use this is a really low ceiling, but I need a straight finish. And so you'll see with the Glow, it's not as straight of a finish as I would have wanted. It flips up straight under the ceiling, pushes forward, but then still has a pretty strong fade at the end, because I'm only going about 250, maybe 260. And the C line, I didn't put enough hyzer on it, and so you see the understability of these discs on forehand. And the S line, that one you see it on hyzer, flips up straight, carries really, really straight for quite a while, and has little to no fade near the end of the flight path. Overall, I know that a lot of people are selling these for pretty pricey, but these fly pretty similar to these Glows, unless you're someone that's pumping like 450 to 500. I think this one would fill the slot that this one would also. So I really want one that's going to have little to no faded finish at the end, but it's also not going to have as much turn as like my Essence, where it's going to finish on its turn. And so other than that, the way they feel in particular, I'm just not a big fan of that rounded top, which I get the need for it, wanting air to pass over the disc to push that right side down into a bit of a turn. But yeah, I don't feel as confident when I throw it, but I have it for really straight, needing to finish straight shots. And so obviously the FD's a really loved disc and really awesome. And for me, I bagged the S line, and yeah, let me know what you guys bag. I saw a team player bagging one of these. I feel like for as much as people buy them for, I'm not sure who actually bags them, but if you had 3 or 4 of them, I guess it'd be a really sweet little spot to have in the bag. So let me know what you guys think, and yeah, thanks for watching.